Everyone, welcome to Act 3 of my hardcore Amazon playthrough. I am currently rocking Explosive Spear and Storm Lance as my main damage dealers. I'm going to show off the Mighty Silver Fist fight and the Jungle Ruins. This is what killed my last character. Since then I'd realized that apparently if you stand in melee range, he doesn't use his Sunder ability nearly as often. And these auto attacks, even if I get hit, I'm pretty sure I survive. Really, I'd only potentially get one shot by the main hitbox of the Sunder, that ability potentially. My whole game plan normally was going into melee and then bouncing back out to ranged, so initially I was staying in melee using mostly melee damage. At some point I realized my melee kind of fell off, somewhere around maybe halfway through Act 2. My main source of damage is barrage into Stormlance or barrage into Explosive Spear. Part of the benefit of using Stormlance means that I can actually shock the enemy. So if I, throw down a barrage Stormlance into double explosive into putting up some whirling slashes for rage, I can get through these bosses pretty easily. Outside of that random ass death in Act 2, because I'm colorblind, we've kind of breezed through the campaign so far. Whirling slash carries, disengage gets us out of tight situations. If I need to just attack from ranged, both of the spears are very strong. And there we go. Mighty Fist is dead. I've gotten my revenge. Up next, we're going to take a look at the only ability that I've added in Act 3, and that is Thunderous Leap. It works mostly like Leap Slam, except there's a little bit more landing lag. In general, I just use this as an extra movement ability in case disengage was on cooldown and I still needed to leap, or if I wanted to engage with Thunderous Slam, and then I could have disengage as my backup. In this video, we're pulling the chart up a little bit early for where I spent my time in Act 3 because it's fairly unique. I got to the Viper really early and ended up dying 2 or 3 times before I got the kill. So most of the time when I'm going through these playthroughs, I don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of time farming in order to gear up. As well as the fact that if I want to learn these boss fights for future hardcore playthroughs, I'm going to have to run them a bunch anyways, so now's a pretty good time to learn. Running theme with the PoE2 boss fights is that you really should avoid just taking any damage if possible. My character doesn't really have any regen outside of flasks, so if I run out of flask charges, then I'm basically just guaranteed dead. I did have a little bit of trouble trying to figure out when was a good time for me to damage Viper with Explosive Spear and Stormlance, since they're kind of stationary and she floats around the arena a bunch. But she does have a good amount of spell animation time after she casts certain abilities. In this run in particular, I feel like I did a really good job of not taking too much damage until the end of the fight. Currently we have almost full flasks up. One of the hardest abilities for me to dodge was these projectiles that were bouncing around the arena, so we take a good chunk of damage here. During this phase, in the earlier fights, I wasn't dodging every single time. I tried to get into the rhythm of just dodging regardless of where the spears were coming out. And then I was also trying to get a good read on which direction the final row of spears was coming from, just realizing that I'd rather stand in the middle instead of towards one end. Something that makes her similar to Mighty Fist is that I think her melee abilities are way less frightening than most of her ranged. So I could just whirling slash in melee into barraging with Stormlance in melee as well. At this point in the campaign, my character was severely underleveled, severely not prepared gear-wise in terms of resistances. But I have a lot of fun attempting hitless boss fights, etc. So this was a good time to practice. Once again, asking you guys to subscribe if you like the content, and let me know if you have any builds you want me to check out. Currently, I've got a few videos coming, one for Ranger and then one for some more speedrunning strats that I'm kind of interested in. Turns out Disengage is kind of busted in this game, as well as using Rake in combination with the Stomping Ground support. So even though I've been having a good time with the Huntress / Amazon, I think I've actually just really enjoyed using Spears. So you might see me attempting to use them on other classes in the future. At this point in the fight, I kind of start panicking. So again, when you're playing hardcore, if you're new, if you're not too experienced with the boss fight, towards the end of these boss fights, panic is going to set in. As long as you can kind of regroup, reset, and get back to your bread and butter, you're going to be okay. So I made it through that one phase. I can't remember. Yeah, she does it back to back. At this point, I'm a little stressed out. I wasn't exactly sure what triggered it. If I just phased her too quickly, which I just didn't seem was possible. Or we are pretty close to running out of flash charges, but her life's low. We've got the extra, open weakness on her. But again, no flash charges means I can't really get hit. Otherwise, we're donezo. And I think at this point I am waiting for a cull. And I see it. And before she can kill us, we finally knock it out. So I think I did slash deaths right before that fight, and we were up to 4. So what that means is I died 3 times to that boss, and then once to the strange Chaos Orbs in Act 2. Not going to be showing Doriani off because I one-shot that fight, and it is much easier than the Viper. Overall, really liked the Huntress playthrough, but maybe that was more just the fact that I liked the Spirit playthrough. The Ascendancy we just used for more damage during the campaign. We were much quicker. I think I beat the campaign in like 4 hours faster than my other character. Part of that is the movement speed and movement abilities, but the other part is I was just learning the campaign more, knowing what to skip, knowing what I could skip. Anyways, that's going to do it for the Huntress video. Look forward to the next set of videos. I don't know if it's going to be the Ranger next, or if I'm going to move on to some more speedrun stuff, but I'm going to look to expand out in the future. These videos were kind of doing alright, but I'm not getting the most feedback that I'd like, so I might start mixing stuff up. We'll see. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one.